waited on this moment for what feels like an eternity. But it's only been a few months. But hey, Christmas comes in August for the SFLm. Welcome in to the start of Season 11, a rematch of the Season 10 SFLm Championship, as it is the San Jose Fly flying into New York to face the New York Gargles. And welcome in one and all, Cameron Duty here again for another season with my buddy DJ Kilgannon and SFLm Commissioner Alex West on the production end this evening. Good evening, DJ. How are you, my friend?
Cam, I am fantastic, and I am so happy to be back down here in the minor leagues with you, especially, my friend, getting this duo back in the booth, especially for some minor league action. I am very, very excited. And what a matchup to start off with this season.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. A rematch of the championship. High hopes, expectation. Obviously, we've got some nerves in the building. Not only in the broadcast booth. Hey, we're getting started too here. But also on the football field. We're all going to just enjoy the opening of the SFLm Season 11 together. Folks, you don't want to go anywhere for the next hour and a half or so. I can promise you that. Kickoff is underway with New York receiving first. And this will be returned down to the 23-yard line, where we will say hello to this New York starting offense led by this year quarterback number 11, Brady Hendricks. And the halfback, it's Dominic Kane, Patrick Rudlang, both those two gentlemen at halfback, and at fullback, it's Tom Thickey. The wide receivers, Yak Williams and D'Angelo Lopez, Ronnie Shanahan, and Ivan Lizardi at wide receiver. The tight end, Leon Sandcastle and Robert Thump. The two tackles, Morgan Terrell and Kenny Cook. As we take a look at this new offense for Season 11 for New York. Of course, last year they had the G2G connection. This starts a new era today, and it starts with a run by Dominic Kane, who was also here in New York last year.
Yeah, and when you look at this offense of New York, you've got a lot to live up to. You got the brand new rookie QB, his first time stepping onto an SFLm field here, playing against the former champs.
Second snap, and again a carry. This time it is the fullback Patrick Rudlang coming over from San Jose. As he gets the carry, it's 3rd and 6, quickly coming up.
And these these flight defenders are tenacious indeed. They lost a few really big pieces to their defense in the offseason. But
now, first throw here, DJ, for Brady Hendricks. It's just a little off the mark, intended for Ronnie Shanahan, and they'll go 3 and out, and that will bring on the special teams unit here.
Yeah, not the way you want to start first drive of the game. Not starting off too hot, but there's still plenty of ball game left to play. Of course, you got a new QB in town. You got to iron out those wrinkles a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Talks about the nerves, the jitters that takes place when you remember that feeling too, DJ. Our first SFL games, and the excitement that goes into it. This punt, a pretty good one, out to about the 45-yard line. Flag on the play, and they are actually going to get what looks like face mask against New York, number 44, incidental. So we won't get a replay on that, but that will set them up at, I believe they said, the 47-yard line. Yes, let's say hello to the defending champion San Jose Flight starting lineup. Once again, led by quarterback Brady White. The halfbacks, Rashawn Williams and Joel Harleman. The fullback, Speedy Gonzalez. The wide receivers, Aiden Texera, Jimmy Wint, and Jamar Shelton. The two tight ends is Goradol Khan and Robert Henson Jr. The tackle, Landon Arning, and guard Jack Big Boss. And here's a big run right off the bat. Out of the gate, Rashawn Williams coming over from Philadelphia and making an early presence in this game, DJ.
Yeah, Rashawn Williams was a really, really good piece of that Philadelphia offense over there. 510 yards plus 9 touchdowns on the ground. He's lethal, especially in the red zone. Can't let him get too many of those carries or he's going to get a lot of momentum.
You couple that with Brady White, who has the SFLm 2K4 record for pass attempts in a single game. Of course, no passing here just yet. Again, it's all Williams. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling down the sideline for a 1st and 10. But like I said, pairing that up with Brady White, he had 70 pass attempts last year in Season 10. But right now, keep it on the ground.
Yeah, certainly. And that was against these very same New York Gargoyles, Cam.
Yes.
So, especially with that being said, it's a very big shift in offense, compared to what we've seen previously with them against New York. But, yeah, this is the SFLM. Your team is going to switch very often.
Oh, absolutely. White throw interception, the first pass of the season for Brady White. And it's going the other way, an INT, and reeling it in is the cornerback, number 21, Devontae Moore.
Yeah, Devontae Moore, one of the development guys for New York this season, coming down, taking snaps in the SFL for Los Angeles. And just what a superstar caliber play right out of the gate. The defensive backs finally getting a chance to make a play on something, and they do just that, Cam. It's going the other way.
That was explosive. One-on-one coverage on the end there with Ada Texera, who is the intended target. He steps in the way of that pass. It gives his Gargoyles another set of downs, this time starting from the 14-yard line. Hendricks again, the rookie QB under center. Toss play left side to Dominic Kane. Back to the line of scrimmage. They'll actually give him one. Let's take a look at this defensive unit for San Jose. Defensive ends Frodo Laggins and Dave Wolf. Defensive tackle DeBrickashaw Molyneux. The linebackers Isaac Faison and Jesus Smith. The safeties Ramnar Sudi and Cletus Youngblood. As we come back out after a 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9. Back to the ground they go once more, wanting to instill that run early. Another carry by Kane and a gain of 2, and quickly it's 3rd down.
Yeah, it seems like, these runs just aren't getting anything going. The defense for San Jose doing just as they did last season, having some linebackers that are not at all shy to shoot gaps and stop running backs early.
3 receivers to the top on this 3rd down play as Hendricks throws short of his intended target, as that was in the vicinity of Ronnie Shanahan. However, a little bit short there on the throw, looks like, and it's 4th and 7.
Yeah, just not really in the reach of Shanahan, like you said. And, we've seen 2 drives now for New York, and you gotta look back at what they did last season a little bit, Cam. This was an offense that could pass the ball really at will. The former offensive player of the season and former MVP both being on that roster. Is this a sign that maybe the adjustments made in the offseason are a little bit too much to handle, and will they be able to find their stride? And eventually, like we had said previously, once they iron out these clicks and these wrinkles with this new quarterback, I'm sure we'll start to see those Gargoyles start to fly high once again.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of flight, good field position for San Jose here with the ball at midfield to start this series. Of course, that's what happens when your defense makes the big play and keeps the offense out of the end zone after a turnover. Look at this one. Grabbing Aiden Texera. Going to take it to the house for the first touchdown of this SFLm season. And San Jose are on the board.
Wow, what a way to bounce back. I love the confidence in the coaching staff, letting the QB, Brady White, not shy at all to big moments. Led them to a championship last season, but a great route by Texera to find the space in the middle of the field. It was all about just Brady White finding him downfield. He did, and Texera getting his first touchdown of his SFLM career because he didn't have one last season, Cam. That one's going to be his first.
Well, give him a game ball for that. That's fantastic. Congratulations with a beautiful one-handed grab. And now on to attempt the extra point. It's Scylla Aldmere. And the kick is good. And all it took that time, DJ, was one play and 49 yards to hit pay dirt.
Yeah, and I think that really sums up Brady White especially, but probably the San Jose offense as a whole. All or nothing. Real aggressive, and I love that style of offense. They're not shy about taking big shots downfield.
They literally put all their chips on the table and, let they fall where they may. And so here we go, starting off for New York again, this time down 7, their 3rd series of the game. And we're excited for Brady Hendricks and company to get the ball rolling. And they'll, as we said, it's a period of progression. Starting off with the new roster additions. We'll see what they can do on this drive, though. 1st and 10 right from the 20. 6:57 remaining in this first quarter. We thank you for joining us on this beautiful Thursday evening in New York. Another run by Kane to the left side, breaks a couple tackles. Hard-fought run for 3 yards.
Yeah, Kane, one of the New York natives from last season, had just shy of 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and got involved in the pass game a little bit. I do expect him to be involved a lot more than last season. We're already seeing that game.
You see Ronnie Shanahan going in motion, moving out wide to the right side of quarterback Brady Hendricks. Now back to throw, plenty of time. There's his first completion, and it is to Ronnie Shanahan coming across the middle on a nice little route that picks up the first down.
Yeah, nice job there from Ronnie Shanahan. Able to, you can see the slant route here getting past the defender, and that one thrown a little bit behind him, but he's able to turn his body, still make the catch, and manage to continue upfield for some more yards after catch yardage. And that's just a really nice sign to see that early from one of your young receivers.
It is, and you and I have talked about this. We've got a great opportunity to call many games together, DJ. But what do we always say? It's repetition that makes these young players grow comfortable, and that could be a start. Now they send the house here on first down, and Hendricks goes into traffic, and it's a one-handed interception. Isaac Faison doing it in style, and that is going to bring what looked like it was going to be a promising drive to a halt for New York. Maybe they got a little bit greedy there on that setup, sending the house right around the 30-yard line.
Yeah, certainly could have been, Cam, but I think that's just an example of a very athletic linebacker making a tremendous play. He was behind on the coverage a little bit, was still able to get in front of it well enough to jump up and make a one-handed play, and that was sensational.
And again, starting from the 40-yard line now of New York is San Jose, and a good carry by Rashawn Williams once more. We haven't had a chance to introduce you to the New York defense yet, so let's do so. Defensive end, L.J. Hobbs, and defensive tackle, May West. The linebackers, Mike Alberts, and the 2 cornerbacks are Devontae Moore and Hudson Cruz. The free safety is Zion Waddles. On 2nd and 3. Toss play to the left side. Room to run. Good blocking out ahead as well for Joel Harleman, who gets his first touch of the day, and it's a good one. First down.
Yeah, the Detroit back getting involved a little bit. They had to have a second back in the backfield other than Williams, so they bring him down from Detroit, and that's a nice run to start. Looks like he's got a little bit of speed on that outer edge.
See the shadow of the Dags. DroneWorks blimp there overhead. A snap. And just fighting the pile that time was Williams, just trying to get something out of nothing, and he's able to get a yard before Gibson makes the tackle.
Yeah, big old Oliver Gibson, the defensive tackle there on the play. You're not going to see Rashawn Williams go down that quick past the line of scrimmage that often, but you got a big D tackle hanging off your back like that, it's going to be hard to go anywhere.
4:34 remaining in this first quarter. In the red zone now is the San Jose flight. Brady White using motion, takes the snap, looks, throws downfield off the hands. His intended target, he was looking in the way of Texera once more, but that time it was just good coverage downfield, and that brings up an important 3rd and 9 here.
Yeah, it looked like some nice zone defense in the middle of it. They had a 4-3 base set, and they motioned out Robert Henson Jr. to maybe see if any men followed him, and kind of gave away that they were playing zone, and wasn't the best look for San Jose.
White again to throw, looking deep off the hands. Good coverage by New York and number 33, Hudson Cruz. There's the cruise control, the cruise missile, whatever you want to call him, but he comes up with a big play, jarring the ball loose, and it's 4th and 9.
Yeah, and they were targeting Robert Henson Jr. again there with that pass. This San Jose flight offense has 5 Detroit development players on it, so a lot of connection, a lot of chemistry within this offense.
And for the first field goal of the season, Priscilla Aldmir, and tacks it on. So let's add 3 more points to San Jose's lead. It's a 10-0 lead as we wind down to the end of this first quarter. Camera duty here with you, and DJ Kilgannon on the call. SFLm Commissioner Alex West in the production truck. And as we said, a beautiful evening here in the Big Apple. The Gargoyles, though, find themselves down by 2 scores here late in the first if you're just tuning in. Pretty good run back here, though, by New York out to the 27-yard line. And so we're already identifying some of the issues early on with the rookie Brady Hendricks. Of course, number one, he's a rookie, so getting comfortable against a very tough, very aggressive defense, it's an uphill battle. But also, you have to talk about the seasoned guys such as Ronnie Shanahan and Lazardi, who's going to be there to help him out. We expect to see more of that coming here, DJ, as this game progresses.
Yep.
Yak Williams going in motion. Play clock down to 3. And it's a good carry by Dominic Kane, who gets out. Looked like he had a little more room to work with than what ended up closing up there on the gap. But he still gets 3, 2nd and 7 coming up.
Yeah, that's Cletus Youngblood coming down from the safety spot to make that cleanup tackle after just a gain of 3. And, you know, it really looks like they're trying to establish a run game early. And against this defense, it's just not really working out so far.
This, though, a little more promise thanks to a stiff arm and a hard shoulder charge. Great job by Patrick Rudlang. And this is a guy who last year in San Jose, we talked about he's just kind of a spark. And when he gets going, DJ, you see plays like this, it ignites the whole team.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he gets some touches in Charleston in the SFL, coming down here playing in New York this time, formerly in San Jose, like you said. So getting some hits on his old squad here with that tough run and a tough stiff arm to boot.
The guy loves contact.
Oh yeah.
1st and 10, keeping it with the ground. There's Kane. Ground game starting to come around just a little bit, and it may be what Hendricks needs to get comfortable. Sprinkling in a pass in between successful runs here. Possibly a thought.
Yeah, and that's a great point. You know, if kind of mix in those passes with the great run attack, it'll certainly help him out a lot. And that great running attack maybe starting to shine a little bit. These last 2 runs been really good. And the one thing I noticed on those last 2 runs we hadn't seen much of was runs to the outside where the wide receivers were holding their blocks for a long time.
Again to the ground, but good blocking up front and able to maneuver is Patrick Rudlang. And you just love to watch this guy get in open spaces because he is a dynamic halfback, and New York has came to play.
Yep, absolutely. And again, we see a run to the outside, and we'll get another look here. You can see the pulling tackle going to the outside, and then you see the block downfield. That's Tom Fickey, the big fullback who got out all the way to one of the defensive backs to hold a block for Patrick Rudlang to have some room to run behind him. And that block certainly made that play, made that run seem really, really easy.
Shout out to all of those big boys and girls on the line here in the SFLm that makes these plays go round. This time, though, man, talk about the flight just descending on somebody. A 3 in the vicinity there to wrap up Dominic Kane and stop his forward momentum after a gain of 3.
Yeah, just really swarming to the ball carrier really is all that is. And, you know, that's what's going to happen if you continue to run as much as you are.
2 receivers at the top side, but they again go back on the ground. Now, this sets up an important 3rd and 5, which is, you know, a situation we've seen New York not really be in yet in this game. Once prior to the 2 turnovers that they had, what do you expect them to come out with here, DJ? Well, we'll find out for ourselves. That was a quick snap and a pump fake, and that's actually going to push them out of field goal range. A very impressive drive that is silenced by Dave Wolf.
Yeah, the Wolf is howling as he gets past the left tackle and brings Hendricks down hard. Dave Wolf was in the minors last season, played his time in New York, and now getting some hits in on the new kid in town over there. That was a pretty hard sack and really demoralizing for New York because it certainly pushes them well out of any possible field goal range they would have been in.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, that's a good point that we need to make as this is down inside the 15-yard line. Good kick there. One thing that we need to mention, DJ, is the difference in the field goals here in the SFLM. A lot of times, of course, these two teams do have two good kickers. John Smith for New York, and of course, you've already seen Silla Aldmere. But that's not always the case, and these developmental players, their range isn't as far out as some of the SFL players that you certainly see. So field position, it's really, it's a premier thing here, and you can't take a sack that we just seen happen, basically. It really it ruins any chance of putting points on the board.
Yeah, definitely does. It just kills all the momentum you had and hope to get some points.
San Jose back to work, throwing, bobbled, incomplete. There was some initial contact there at the point of the football reaching the receiver's hands. All good and clean, though, just good, tough football, and it's 3rd and 7 quickly.
And I think these plays and these downs are where Brady White and the Flight are going to thrive, because we know they can convert in big moments like this, and we know they have the star power too.
3 receivers up to the top of your screen. One to the bottom. And 1 man in the backfield for Brady White. Pressure coming. They send everybody towards number 12, and he gets leveled. A big sack from a big man. That's the inside linebacker, number 52, Mike Alberts.
Yeah, everyone is no joke, Cam. I think they literally blitzed every single member of the Gargoyle defense in on Brady White. And, I mean, when you have that much pressure in your face, that many black and orange jerseys around you, it's going to be hard to get a throw off. It looked like he tried to step up into the pocket, and that was right when that blitzing linebacker came off the edge of his block and just made a really hard hit.
Oh, Shanahan on the return, bouncing off defenders. And doing a good job there, able to get out to the 48-yard line. Good field position for the first time for the day. Honestly, for New York, we'll see what they can do. But that brings us to the end of the first quarter. 10 points on the board early for San Jose, but New York looking to get things together. Folks, you are watching the SFLM, the debut of Season 11, right here on the Virtual Football Network. We welcome you back inside the East River Cathedral in the Big Apple on a beautiful August evening. Football is in the air, folks. Cameron Duty here with DJ Kilgannon and Alex West back at SFLM headquarters. Good field position to start here, and again back to the ground.
Oh!
Working so good for them. Look at Kane, absolutely showing he is able with a bulldozing block and then taking off downfield, turning on the Jets, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Gargoyles.
Burying that young man in a tombstone. What a hit! Dominic Kane just leveled a defender. Someone get the EKG, the crash card out here, because my goodness, it's going to be tough to get up after a hit like that. My gosh.
It just about, cemented the guy in the turf. And so, again, we talk about momentum. New York looking for good momentum. This is exactly what they needed. A great play on 1st and 10 that they turn into a big-time run. We'll see Brady Hendricks now throw. That pass is complete. Having to come back for it, though, and turn upfield is D'Angelo Lopez. He gets 3 on the play, and it's 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, catching that one in stride and good coverage, able to break off the tackle. It's nice yak potential, but the Flight do such a good job of getting a lot of heads to the ball carrier that the tough running he did on that play didn't mean too much.
Kane again with the carry, and you can just see him shooting out of the gaps. And the momentum that he has at the moment gets close to the 1st down. Turns sideways there, as you can see, trying to stretch for that extra yardage. And they're going to say just short, as a matter of fact, 3rd and inches. In an I formation here, DJ.
I mean, you got to expect a run here if you're the Flight defense, and looks like it. Going to stack the box pretty heavily.
Big 3rd down play here. Wanted to show some muscle, able to do so. It's Kane again, and like we said, keep giving this guy the football. Continue to feed him the rock. He gets more powerful, more explosive as the game wears on.
Yeah, I mean, he just runs with such aggression and force that, in those 3rd and inches spots. It's just, there's not a lot you can do.
Again, though, as you see, kind of mixing them in here. You know, a carry by Rudlang, as you see right there. A carry or two by Dominic Kane. So trying this revolving door of halfbacks and fullbacks here so far. And so far it's working very good for New York, as it is 2nd and 8, just outside the 10-yard line. In the red zone for the first time today, and hoping to stay there and then some, trying to progress as Kane lowers the shoulder and the helmet. It's going to be a 3rd and very manageable here, 3rd and 4. But you got to be careful on this side of the field, DJ, because it is so easy if you want to throw the football for a turnover to take place.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, and this, I guess, especially against such a stout defense.
Brady Hendricks throwing to the end zone in double coverage. It falls incomplete. It was intended for number 12, Yak Williams. So good coverage downfield by San Jose. Dangerous throw.
Yeah, and that's Devontae Moore again on the coverage. He's the one that had that interception previously. And, you know, I don't hate it. You're trying to put that trust into your young quarterback in that spot where you need some points, you know, rather than trying to run on 3rd and manageable, which, again, I don't hate the decision, but that's a young rookie quarterback. We've talked about it a few times, and just throwing that one into double coverage, maybe not the best decision, but no turnover, you're still going to escape the 3 points.
First points of the year for New York. It's kicker number 9, John Smith, who puts them on the board for the first time today, making it a 1-score game. 7 points is the difference now between San Jose and New York, with 7:16 remaining in the first half. That had to feel good. We'll talk about that after the run back here, as we will see this one returnable. And it's Texera bringing it out across the 30 to the 31. But that right there, DJ, getting points on the board, showing that you have the capability to move the ball down the field and put points on the board. It's a huge thing for a young team, especially a young QB like Brady Hendricks and some of these players, to know they can do it.
Yeah, and, you know, with Dominic Kane, he was pretty much you know, he didn't get used too much last season because he was in such a dominant passing team that was New York. So this is really just his first chance to really establish himself as a perennial back.
Brady White again under center as he sends Jimmy Went, number 80, up to the top of the screen. And we'll see them keep it on the ground. And right now, with Rashawn Williams on this side as well as Dominic Kane on the other side for New York, it's become a tale of 2 halfbacks really in this one.
Yeah, it certainly has. A lot of tough running, and, you know, whenever these backs do get the ball, it's just like that. It feels like 5-6 yards a carry almost. It just seems like they're unstoppable to a point.
2nd and 3. And on the carry, they give it this time to Joel Harleman out of the backfield. Their 2-headed tandem looking nice. Nice spin move there, and picks up the 1st and 10. And another thing, the pace of this game, it's changed because of the ground attacks. This second quarter really speeding by us here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, this first half has just felt like a blur. You know, the only touchdown we've seen, the drive was just that one pass. You know, It was just one quick play touchdown.
One play for 49 yards. Ever since then, it's been a struggle to get any kind of progression. Now, the screen pass, though, out of the backfield, a nice decision by Brady White, throwing to Rashawn Williams, who makes a man miss and brings up a 2nd and 4. Very manageable for this flight team.
Yeah, now I feel like, you know, with how you're running the ball, if you can continue to do so, you just got to keep churning it out until New York can manage to stop it.
You see handoff and a spin move right out of the gate by Harleman. Throws off the New York defenders just a moment, makes him stutter step, and that gives him enough to get the 1st and 10. So that actually, look at this little stutter here, the spin, yeah, works to his favor.
Yeah, Speedy Gonzalez, the fullback there, shot the gap before Harleman did and laid a really nice block on the incoming linebacker. And, you know, basically created that play, left a lot of room for Harleman to run at that 2nd level. Really nice display of blocking by the fullback.
Texera going in motion, keep an eye on him, he's dangerous. Brady White under center, but they do keep it on the ground. Oh, and a good run, and carrying the defender as well as Rashawn Williams there, as it looked to be as if he had L.J. Hobbs on his back and was just running with him.
Yeah, certainly carried him for a few, and you can see it there, practically 8 yards per carry right now for Williams. My God.
Acknowledge me.
So now we start to see movement. An audible call on defense, and that's the right play. Oh, yeah, that New York Gargoyles defense read that play like a book. They come up, and they stuff Harleman for a big 3rd and 3 that's coming up.
There we go. That's what we needed from New York, was to stop one of those runs short. And now, you know, the playbook is open for San Jose. They've gotten this 3-yard gain plenty of times on runs, but do you risk it or do you try and air it out?
I'm going to do this. Yeah, I mean, you know, that ground attack is lethal as it's been. Until they can prove consistently to be able to stop it, I think that's the way to go.
Yep, I completely agree. You know, they stopped that one play, and then they kind of change up their defensive approach. Maybe just try and stick with what worked, stopping the run, because right now it's really all San Jose is doing.
And again, with the spin move there, is Harleman trying to get out of traffic. And he gets 3, 2nd and 7 coming up as they are looking to inch their way closer to the promised land. And, of course, red zone territory, working their way into field goal range at the moment. As Brady White here under center. 2 receivers at the top side, 1 to the bottom. 1 man in the backfield. White to throw into traffic. Incomplete. Again, looking for Texera. And, you know, that's a compliment to this Gargoyles defense. They've made it very disruptive, very hard for Brady White to find his men, other than that 149-yard pitch and catch there between him and Texera.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. And what New York has done now is they have forced Brady White to throw the football. You got to imagine their defense is ready for it, and you got to like to see it stop.
3 receivers up to the top side. That's where White's looking. He's going to take off and run, but there is a man in the vicinity able to bring him down. Now, he was able to get, you know, past the line of scrimmage there, so I don't think we'll consider that a sack. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a great play by New York, able to bring down Brady White and bring on the special teams unit.
Yeah, it was just really nice coverage downfield. Kind of just forced him to run because certainly gained a few, and if he was able to get past that defender, he certainly would have had a chance for the first down. But just, he's a quarterback for a reason, not quick enough on his feet to be able to slide right past him, but you're still going to get 3.
Take a look at that kick by Scylla Aldmere, able to again extend San Jose's lead to 10, 13-3 here with 2:54 remaining in the second quarter. And so far, Aldmere doing a fantastic job. She's really been a great component for this team early in this game. Look at Ronnie Shanahan's stiff arm there. I thought he was going to be able to take that and to propel it to a huge run. But again, the physicality in this game, you got to love it, folks.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. Let's see it again. Stuffing him into the turf. My gosh.
He was 1 block away from almost taking that to the house. He didn't have many people up ahead of him.
No, not at all. And, you know, was almost able to slip around that edge, like you said, but thankfully for San Jose, the big old defender was able to pull him in and wrangle him down, because that run was looking dangerous on that return.
Indeed it was. We'll see what happens here. And this for Kane, who continues. Look at that. You know, it takes more than 1 defender to bring that guy down.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a truck trying to get stopped by men. Like, you know, you have the great, you got the fullback shooting ahead. That's Tom Thickey again, able to barely make the block right before he gets to the back, and then after that, it's all Dominic Kane just powering through heaps of San Jose defenders.
Closing in on the 2-minute warning for this first half. And a 2nd and inches. As we see a man in motion. That's Robert Thump, number 88, but they keep it on the ground with Rudlane doing the tough yardage, and it's a 1st and 10. And I do like what they're doing here, DJ. As you can see, Kane, kind of the thoroughbred, if you will, made for the long run. Patrick Rudlane coming in doing a lot of the good cleanup work there, getting the 2 or 3 yards they need as this brings us to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, they're both just real bruisers, honestly. I think either of them could play either role in that regard. But what they have going right now is really solid. I don't think they need to change anything along the lines of who's getting touches when.
2-minute warning here in New York City. Game 1, week 1 of the SFLm season 11. We've got some great games on tap, folks, to keep you, enjoyed and excited for your Thursday night. It's Kane again going to work. My gosh, it's starting to look like a WWE SmackDown out here.
Yeah, someone needs to check that, man. Test the blood, something, because my gosh, he's just burying men.
2nd and 7 as the shades grow here on the field. Oh, that pass was a little bit short and dangerously could have been intercepted, as we've seen, a couple of players there in the vicinity. Archuleta, one of them there for San Jose, who could have come up with a pick. But it's 3rd and 7 now for New York.
Yeah, now you got to be forced to pass. You can't rely on your run game here.
Hendricks to throw. Almost intercepted there. I thought it was going to be batted up in the air, if not picked off and ran back. Good job by the defense, as that is Butler for San Jose, who was dropping back in the coverage there and almost made the big pick. And it's going to be up to the special teams unit again to punt this one and keep San Jose at bay before halftime.
Yeah, and certainly would have been dangerous with how far they were into their own field position. A pick there, thankfully for New York. Just batted down simply. But, and that's one problem with relying on your run game so heavily as they are right now. When you're forced into those passing downs like they just were, it's going to be tough.
Good punt there by New York. And, you hate to see this. Shelton, who was the return man on that kick, on the ground. Hopefully it's nothing serious and he can get back up and join this team as this game progresses. You see him there kind of looking at his neck as he walks off the sideline.
Yeah, and hopefully not. We've seen the flight mostly run, but Shelton was just shy of 1,000 yards receiving last season and had a half dozen touchdowns to his name as well. He's a really, really good receiver out there and one of the best statistically on this flight squad.
Well, absolutely. Texera going in motion. He has been the big target thus far for Brady White. This San Jose offense, though, has stuttered just a little bit in this second quarter as New York's been able to tighten things up. It's going to be interesting to see, in my opinion, how aggressive San Jose wants to be with the final minute and some change here.
And that is one thing we talked about, the G-to-G connection being gone. But one thing we didn't mention is Brady White's right-hand man, Victor Rojas, is no longer on the squad. You think maybe that's something they're taking into account with this run-first game?
That's a good point, DJ, and absolutely could be possible, as that looked as if it had dangerous tendencies of a turnover, as well as Mike Alberts was in the area. But you're right on that. We've paid so much attention with the Goodman to Goodman connection being gone in New York that Victor Rojas, he was a human highlight reel last season, and so they're going through a transitionary period as well. And I think you're right. The response to that has been this heavy ground attack. Big 3rd and 6 here, 54 seconds remaining in the half. Back to throw. Oh, what a nice play. Jimmy went to thread the needle there on that pass, and a good play by Brady White.
Yeah, another one of those Detroit development players. The receiver Jimmy Wynn able to haul that one in. A nice pitch and catch there. We talked about being forced into passing downs and with the previous touchdown. We know that the flight can pass whenever they need to, but still their running game is lethal. Why not stick with it?
Yeah, I got to say here, 20 seconds left in this first half. They keep it on the ground. I think that tells you their mentality heading into the halftime to just run this clock out and be satisfied with a 10-point lead.
Yeah, certainly looks like they will. And we're going to see this one go to half after a very interesting first half of football, Cam. I feel like that last half a quarter was longer than the entirety of the first quarter and a half, if that makes any sense.
No, I got you. It's been an interesting pacing thus far in this game. One half in the books in the first game of this season 11 of the SFLm. Cameron Duty here with DJ Kilgannon. We welcome you into the snapshots of the second or this first half as we prepare for the second half. DJ, what do you need to see? I'll start with New York here. We got to obviously establish a passing game, correct?
Yeah, certainly. We need Hendricks to feel a little bit more comfortable, pass the ball a little bit cleaner. See some of the old shines of New York that we had seen all season last season. And, this sentiment could be shared with both teams, but just stop the run game a little bit. Maybe add a few more people in the box. Maybe protect the edges a little bit more with some harder hitting corners. We got to see this run game get stopped. And like I said, that can go to both sides, San Jose and New York.
You get some beautiful images of the Big Apple behind this East River Cathedral. We welcome you back in. Cameron Duty here with DJ Kilgannon and Alex West back at SFL headquarters. It's just good to be back, man. It feels good to be here with you. It feels good to be calling some SFLm. We had such a fun time last year doing this throughout the week. This feels like familiar territory it really does as we start this second half kickoff. Oh, and there's a stiff arm for you by Jimmy Went. Coming out very aggressive on the run back, gets it out to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, another nice return there. We've seen a few of those good returns in this game so far. A lot of physicality from these returners so far getting in open field. But yeah, like you said, man, it's fantastic to be back for another season of this, with how much we called last season, finally getting to get back into the booth with Alex. Felt like, a little miniature family reunion up here. Everybody getting to catch back up again. It's a great time down here.
It really is. Great vibes all the way around, even in the chat. Thanks to each and every one of you who are out there. And love taking a look at the conversations that you guys are having. One of the questions that's posed is, of course, will the run theme carry out for the rest of the night? We've both discussed that as well, and we're curious to see if the passing game will, in fact, rise up. Speaking of, you talked about traditions here in the SFLm. Another one is your jet-setting ways, DJ, and you will be on the call. Once again, a little bit later, you're going to go down to Birmingham. We'll talk about that after this play. Then a hard hit here, 3rd and 5 coming up for San Jose. But we'll go ahead and tell you guys, coming up at 8 o'clock tonight, Charles Doherty and Mark Lopez has the call between Philadelphia and Anchorage. There's one of those startup teams. And then at 10 o'clock in the nightcap, Jesse Fritz gets the play-by-play call with you, buddy, as you go down to Birmingham as those two new squads, San Diego and Birmingham, will take off. Deep pass incomplete. Let's talk a little bit about that of course, we'll finish this game and you'll hit a red eye to Birmingham. Got to be excited for that.
Oh, certainly excited to get to call with my buddy Jesse. Have done a lot of talking with him in the SFLm offseason, got to know him pretty well. And of course, we got to see him play in Philadelphia, I believe it was, last season. So he's going to get some more play time this season and dipping his toe into the booth a little bit. Excited to hear him on play-by-play tonight. Excited to call with him. And
absolutely.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Shanahan again. Man, that guy is physical.
Yeah.
I love it.
Gosh. Just some anger out there.
Yeah, well, they don't feel like they should be down by, 10 points either. You can tell.
Yeah, you can see it on that replay. I mean, you got the second stiff arm there. He stiff-armed the first gentleman. It looked like he was bowling out there. Stiff-armed him into 3 other flight defenders, and they just toppled down for a strike.
Oh, man. Yeah, and, you love the physicality of this game. These two teams are very familiar with each other. As we said, a rematch of the SFLm Season 10 Championship, which San Jose was the victor of. And honestly, let's go back to that, how New York was setting the world on fire last season with the G2G connection. But, what they say, slow and steady sometimes wins the race. And Brady White and company was able to, with great chemistry, put together, some really good games at the end of the season and take it to the house.
Yeah, certainly. And, you talk about how good that New York squad was. One of the best SFLm teams we've ever seen, especially offensively. But to that same notion, San Jose's defense was just so good, and if any team was going to be able to topple them last season, it was them. Had the defensive player of the season in Amonte Dubois-Smith, had Luis Quintana, who was just a sheriff in the middle of their defense. Not having any of those aforementioned guys in this one, that's just the culture down here in the minors. Everything changes so fast.
Brady Hendricks with nobody in the backfield other than himself. He throws it deep. There's a great play. Oh, man. And in stride to Ivan Lazardi. We said he would be an important component to this team and to the comfortability, if that is a word, to Brady Hendricks. And, yeah, look at this throw and catch here. Great job.
Yeah, and that's one of the offensive pieces that actually stayed in New York in the offseason, along with Dominic Kane. Ivan Lazardi, no stranger to this New York atmosphere, had just shy of 300 yards last season and a touchdown to their name. Hoping to see some more big things from them.
Well, a huge conversion that they sorely needed. They give it to Rudling here, and as you said, yeah, he's like a bowling ball, but he's got speed as well. Comes firing out of the backfield for a gain of 7 on first down. It doesn't get much better than that, 7 yards on a carry on first down.
Yeah, certainly not. And, we've seen now that New York is doing something we didn't see much of in their first half at all. They got some passing game to work, hopefully to continue that.
Back to the ground game with Kane, who's able to get back to the line of scrimmage, but nothing else. That's just good pursuit by San Jose. And Cletus Youngblood, as they call him, Cletus Deletus, subtracting some yards per carry there for Dominic Kane on that. Throw now. Oh, that's going to be close. I think they're going to say he gets it. Lazardi again, the man on third down, and they'll say 1st and 10.
Yeah, Isaac Faison was there to make the tackle, and it looked really close to the line to gain, but we're not down there. The refs going to say it was just, the ball got past the line. Now we're going to see some bunch from New York.
Toss play on 1st and 10 here as it's Kane with the carry. And again, back to that bulldozing bowling ball reference that we've had all day. Again, more physicality by Kane. Speaking of, it reminds you of the WWE wrestler, honestly. More like Kane than anybody there. A couple choke slams on the field tonight.
Heck yeah. I mean, with his stiff arms, I could really see it, start to making its way into that.
Again with the carry. And this has worked so well. Look at Rudling now. He gets involved and he says, I want a piece of the action too. And this is changing the complexity, the complexion of this game for New York. It's allowed them a new lease on life.
Yeah, I mean, just such aggression. It's a complete polar opposite from their last season form. So swift, calculated pass attack, and now they're just a pure physical, aggressive run attack, and it's so exciting to watch.
Oh, I mean, there it is again. Yes. I mean, honestly, instead of the, as you said, that very swift, artsy kind of, the rhythm and ebb and flow that the G2G connection had, New York decides to reinvent themselves with a brutal front line and the halfbacks to boot.
I'm going to start calling Dominic Kane the Gravedigger, the way he is just burying men on these hits.
I love it. That's a good nickname for him. Again, who gets it this time? That is Rudling, who again takes a guy down to the turf. But a short carry brings up 3rd and 5. Interesting position to be in here with your young quarterback.
Yeah, certainly. And, I'm curious to see if they try and run in this, 3rd and manageable, like you said. And they're going back to the bunch. We've seen them pass out of this previously.
Big receivers here to the top side, to the left of quarterback Brady Hendricks, and he does throw. It's going to be short. He gets the completion, but just all over at that time was San Jose, especially a number 23 on the coverage. They're on the hunt, shall we say. And now a 26-yard attempt coming from kicker John Smith. Snap, the hold looks good, and so is this kick. So again, it's within 7. This game's staying tight, folks, and it's turned into a contest of field goals after a 12-play, 61-yard drive. New York puts 3 more on the board.
Yeah, those type of drives are really what's going to keep you in this game. You look up at the clock, over half of the half gone, and that was their first time getting their first big drive of it. just run. Had a few early passes to get it started, but with how they're running, this is the type of team and mentality that can really just wear down a defense. Put it into this perspective, Cam. How many of those hits from Dominic Kane is a cornerback going to be able to take?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it wears them down. It's you talk about a defense coming up and being physical, making big plays. Well, these guys in the backfield just as capable of doing that. And you're up. It does have the same effect, even on the defense. It wears the guy down. And one day they're not going to be able to hold on for the wrap-up tackle.
Yeah.
As we see Williams again with the carry, who's gotten a little bit silenced as this game has went along, but we expect to hear more out of him here in this series and the series to come, I feel like.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we know San Jose definitely wants to keep toting the rock with him. We've seen they can pass sometimes, but it's more so they want to rely on the running attack, and I can't imagine that philosophy will change too much. Especially being
I agree. Jimmy Went goes in motion, but this time it's New York all over that play, able to snuff that run out as Harleman not able to get back to the line of scrimmage. And a big 3rd and 7 here. And this is interesting. As you said, San Jose's first drive of the second half. We're going to really see what kind of adjustments New York has been able to make here. 3rd and 7. Can they get Brady White and company off the field? They cannot. It's Texera coming back for the reception. A great route run. And how about timing? There's that timing between those two. White, cool, calm, and collected, and Texera knowing just when to cut back to when the football is going to be released. I love that.
Yeah, and that's just a blitz with some man coverage behind it. We saw previously on the 3rd down, Cam, that they blitzed everyone and their mom. That time they leave a couple people in coverage. They don't think they're going to be able to get as much pressure. And Texera and these receivers for San Jose are good enough to be able to beat one-on-one man.
Oh, and look at Williams hurdling over defenders. Rashawn Williams, as we said, he's come over from the Philadelphia Cougars and making a really good statement his first game with his new team, gain of 5.
Yeah, and that's a sweet spot for runs. Just continue it to be around that range, and now you can see Harleman in the backfield. I'm expecting to see another maybe inside run here.
You call it perfect. Reading that one like a book, my friend, as it's a 1st and 10 after another good carry by Harleman.
Yeah, it's just at a point it gets to be, when your offense continues to do the same thing. I wouldn't say predictable is the word, but to a point, yes, because once you're in shorter scenarios like that with a good enough running game, you have to be forced to run it.
Oh, pressure in the backfield quickly on quarterback Brady White, but he's able to back foot his way out of it and throws complete to, I believe that was Gordal Khan, correct?
Yep, it was. With a nice diving catch right on the ground. Got parallel with the ground with that one.
First reception of the season for Khan. 6-yard gain. Inside of 2 minutes left in this fast-moving 3rd quarter as Williams with the carry. They're going to say forward progress. Gets the 1st and 10.
Yep, able to push it just over the line to gain, it looked like. And the New York defender got there just as he got by. Now going to be a nice clean slate of downs for San Jose. Expect to see some more running.
And you're correct on that, as it's Harleman running right side, but coming up like a speeding locomotive is Foley, who gets the tackle there around the edge, denying Harleman of being able to get around, and it's just a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, now you have 2nd and long, and now it's an opportunity of what we've seen this look plenty of times where they run out of it. But with 2nd and long, do you run it and try and risk not getting close enough, being forced to pass, or do you stick what's comfortable with and just try and run it out?
Well, they do go to the air. Pressure coming, though, but look at this composure, and it's a touchdown. Able to find his man wide open. That is number 81, Bruce, in on the play. And let's talk about pressure in the face of Brady White, but he stands in there and delivers a beautiful throw that could very well have changed this game entirely as they extend their lead.
Yeah, we've seen it so many times where New York has decided to bring some extra bodies and pressure Brady White. And, we talked about it early on in this game. Brady White is used to that pressure. I mean, for goodness sake, he just went down and won an SFLm championship last year. This guy is used to it. And that, now that he's kind of adjusted to it, he knows New York wants to continue to try and do it. It seems like he's adjusted well, and, firing a laser over to Bruce, like you said, on the side. And I mean, after that, it's just all up to the ball carrier with a lot of nice yak yardage, excuse me.
Scylla Aldemir with the extra point is good. They're able to wrangle the high snap there and get it down, and she's able to tack that point on. And a good job by this whole flight team, able to extend their lead now to 14. And that is important because as you see the clock, folks, 56 minutes remaining in this third. It is a real possibility here. New York's going to have to get in the end zone to stick with San Jose. That's a big problem as they've not been able to do it yet. But also what's more important, as you said, the time factor, they may get 2 possessions in this game, and that may be it, or 3. Depending on how it goes, as that pass falls incomplete. It would not be a surprise, would it, DJ, if they are limited to their possessions as fast as this game is moving?
No, certainly not. And one thing we haven't really touched on with having a run-first attack is once it gets close to, having 1 quarter left, you're down, you gotta push it downfield, as you can't run the ball every play once you get to that point, or you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot with how fast the clock is going to drain away.
52 seconds remaining in this third quarter of play. It's Hendricks to throw out of the backfield. Nice screen set up nicely. Good job getting downfield there after the stiff arm, as that is Kane once more. And that's a much more manageable 3rd and 2.
Yeah, now there's, you'll have a free timeout, if you will, in 35 seconds. And still a whole nother quarter to play. So while being down 2 touchdowns, yes, you still got some time to run.
Yeah, that you do. They go back to it, and that's going to be a close spot. Rodling fighting hard for that, but just as equally hard. Yeah, San Jose, there it is. A challenge for the spot of the ball because San Jose, and I believe that was Faison, if I'm not mistaken. We'll get a second look at it, but I think he's the one who came swarming to the football to try to keep him behind the sticks.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, it certainly looked like at first glance, it looked like a very generous call. Let's see.
As he cuts back in, and I was wrong on that number. Excuse me. As that's definitely number 31.
Definitely looked short. Yeah.
Indeed. We expect this one to get called back, and that's an interesting scenario all in itself. As the field, the ruling on the field is overturned. Of course, San Jose not charged a timeout. A good challenge indeed.
New York not going to get away with that one. Last season, Cam, it was Boston. The refs were trying to play games. Now maybe Boston's gone. Maybe it's New York now. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you almost lost your life a couple of times heading from the from the press box to your red-eye flight to get to your next game up there in Boston. That could be why they went away. It got too treacherous for us to go up there.
Yeah, we just refused all future calls there because of that.
Become too dangerous for the SFL.
Yep.
Yeah, SFL and its employees there not able to travel into the Boston Harbor anymore. So, oh well, that's all right, DJ. Try not to get hurt. I won't be with you this evening when you head down to Birmingham. So just be careful, my friend.
Yeah, that's right. I have Jesse holding it down. Hopefully he'll be able to keep me in check.
Yeah, Jesse, if you don't make it out of New York, buddy, it's all you on that call, brother.
I'll have to have Alex do double time and step in if I don't make it.
We'll know what happens if he don't make it out of the Big Apple here. As we come to the end of the third quarter, folks, we're having a good time this evening, and we hope you are too. Good football. San Jose leading New York 20-6, but this game ain't over yet. 1 frame left to play. It's the SFLm on the Virtual Football Network. Cameron Duty here with DJ Kilgane, and of course having a good time as always, and Commissioner Alex West back in the production truck. San Jose wanting to put the first W of the season in the column. They're 1 quarter away from doing so. Brady White with the throw. Jimmy Witt incomplete. Good coverage.
Yeah, that was the cruise missile there in coverage for New York, able to break that one up just as the ball was getting there. And San Jose, this is certainly a passing down. Let's see if they can get it going against this defense. Defensive coordinator Billy Turner working with the defense.
And that's one of the Boston alum that you were picking on there, Hudson Cruz, as a matter of fact, coming up and making that play. As Brady White throwing good pocket. Oh, dang, and that's what you can do as he finds Bruce once more right around the midfield stripe, and it's 1st and 10.
Yeah, really nice catch downfield there and a beautiful throw from Brady White. And, you know, that's another one of just trying to find your receiver before he gets to the next level. He was just sandwiched in between the levels there, between the linebacker and the safety. He saw the linebacker take one too many steps too close, and that just gave him enough room to fire it down to the receiver and just hope he caught it before the safety was able to make a play.
That's Gordel Khan, the tight end, who goes in motion for Brady White. Pass out of the backfield. They get it to Williams. Oh, a nice stutter step. Just enough to get that forward momentum and extra yardage for the 1st and 10. And now you almost start to feel, the pressure in this building, pressure on New York's defense to make a play, but also, for San Jose, the feeling of if they can go down the field and get a touchdown here, this could be ball game.
Yeah, a team like this, they want to keep their foot on the gas against a team that could really light it up at any point. And Cam, I don't know if you noticed in the chat, but the Boston alum have showed up, and I think things are starting to look scary.
Frank Doom is at your door. They call him Doom for a reason, right? I mean,
Doom and Gloom.
And he has found his way to the Big Apple. He's coming for you, buddy. God bless you. I'm going to have to get some security out here before we get you down to Birmingham. We want to make sure you get to that game with Jesse. And, oh, man, we got to call in some special forces. Gain of 5 that time for Joel Harleman. And it's 2nd and 5 for the San Jose Flight here.
Yeah, and, this is the spot that San Jose wants to be in. With how well they're running the ball, being able to keep their foot on the gas and control the play clock is going to be amazing for them.
Oh, look at that. Look at the agility and the physicality by Rashawn Williams, just churning those legs, and a 1st and 10, and you can tell they are on a forward march down to the end zone.
Yep, certainly, and 20 we haven't seen a touchdown from New York to this point. 2 coming from San Jose. Texera leading out the game, getting that first touchdown, and New York just looking for some shine of light to get into the end zone for their offense. But first, you got to worry about stopping San Jose from getting in the end zone.
Well, that you do. Takes there, going in motion. And they toss it back to the right side, though. Rudlane trying to spin out, or Harleman trying to spin out of it, excuse me. Gain of 2 on that one. And the all-important factor here, the clock continuing to tick, 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 tick away.
Yep, certainly. And, even these shorter runs for them are fine because you don't have too much of the field to play with. But right now, it's as many runs as you can get in, the better. You don't want to hurry off the field by any means because the longer you're out there, if you're out there for long enough, the game is practically sealed.
Williams, stopped that time. It looked like he had room to run, but that was just a really good play of coming off of that block there and able to make a stop is the New York Gargoyles. That's number 58, Simmons, who has 5 tackles on the day. So a nice, quiet evening for Simmons there as he's put together a pretty good effort. Now Texera in motion. Keep an eye on him. He's been dangerous this evening. White going to look his way. He does. And that actually was in the vicinity of, I believe it was Robert Henson Jr.
Yep.
And that's incomplete. Good coverage downfield by New York. That's 4th and 7, and we got to believe that will bring Aldemir on, and it will, for a 42-yard attempt.
Yeah, and that one was fired over to the Detroit tight end, trying to get him involved, and he attempted to pull that one in one-handed. It just a little too high for him. One-handed catches are tough anyway. But that one in coverage, plenty of defenders around him. It's going to be a tough catch to make. And now you look at the other side for New York, and there's a couple things you want to lay out on the table after a beautiful kick, I might add.
Oh, yeah. Scylla Aldemir. Yeah, great job. Go right ahead, DJ.
And you look at New York, right? They haven't been too successful passing the ball. Most of their offensive production has come from Dominic Kane and Patrick Rudline. coming into this drive with 6.5 minutes, you really, really cannot rely on that running attack for too long, because it's eventually you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot enough times where you'll eventually bleed out, and there will just be no time to be able to score as many times as they need to. Even 2 touchdowns isn't enough at this point. It's going to be a three-score game for New York. You got to score fast. You got to score quick. We got to see some of that old New York Gargoyle offense shine.
Yep. They got to make sure that they have it in the pocket and can pull it out here. Good point there, DJ. As always, we'll see what they can do. As rookie quarterback Hendricks up to throw. Almost threw an interception that would have certainly ended this ball game. Just a little bit short of Cletus Youngblood. Had that had a little more on it, that would have been right in the old breadbasket.
Yeah, and that one was just a little. He led the receiver too far, and maybe just an ill-advised throw, or maybe the pressure kind of got to him because there was a lot of defenders around him, but just not on the money where you want it.
Again, Hendricks, plenty of time, going deep, and he had his man. It looked to be that Lazardi was able to get some separation from the defender, but he overthrows him, and it's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, just he had the step on him, like you said, Cam, and just slightly overthrown. And we've talked about it. This is a rookie quarterback. You're going to have to iron out those wrinkles and give him some time to make some connections with his receivers. This is the first time he's playing in the SFLm. Those passes will come in time.
Oh yeah, and you got to think of the nerves that was behind that pass. Trying to make the big play, trying to pump it downfield. Now having to scramble, throws off his back foot. Throwing into traffic, just trying to make something happen. And it's a 4th and 10 here. Whitley down there in coverage amongst others, and they will have to punt it away. As we said, 6:16 remaining in this ball game.
Yep, they will punt, they're going to punt it. And, you've got to trust your defense to try and make an early stop, because, Cam, I'd argue if this drive goes to around the 3-minute mark or lower, I'd argue this game is done.
I would have to agree. Now, that's a booming punt right there. That's going to help them as it backs San Jose up to the 25-yard line. But as you mentioned, now in full cruise control is San Jose, to the fact that, they can play this really any way that they want to. If they want to ground and pound, they've got the linemen and the backs to do it. We'll see how they come out here.
Yeah, great punt indeed. Might have been the best thing I've ever seen, Cam.
That guy did a really good job. Got to give him credit. 1st and 10 here for the 25-yard line. Jimmy Went going in motion for San Jose. I'm interested to see what they do. Yeah, they put it on the ground with Williams, and you've got the back to do it.
Yeah, they certainly do. And even when he's not on the field, Harleman has looked really good. And if they get forced into a 3rd and long, the Brady and White connection, the Brady White and Aiden Texera connection almost feels like what we saw last season from him and Rojas, just connecting on all levels. So, it seems like this flight team has really, really come to play, and they're already shooting, wanting to go back-to-back with chips.
All right, but duplicate the formula, but as soon as we say it, the New York defense steps up, the 2nd interception of the day. This is the first pick 6, however, and it is a touchdown for New York. And what a play. Number 45 coming in, and look at turning on the Jets. Wow. McCreary, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you talk about trusting your defense, Cam. I don't think you can put more trust into them than that, and that shows why you trust your defense, because they're able to make huge plays like that. Another interception, this one way down into the field position of San Jose, and they take it back the other way already. Last SFLm season was riddled with pick 6s from this New York defense. We're already seeing another one here.
Listen, DJ, that just changes the complexity of this game. All of a sudden, it's a 10-point game, and this 5:33 not going to be as easily manageable this time by San Jose as they take the kneel down after a great kick, by the way. And 5:31 here to go. Boy, San Jose now, New York turns up the pressure. Obviously, like we said, it's a 10-point game, but that just changes how you ride off into the sunset, if you will. Got to be more aggressive here.
Yeah, for sure. And, You know, even if New York isn't able to get the ball back and make anything else of it, you know, their defense has looked solid. You got 2 picks off
Yes.
Brady White, one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the minor leagues right now, and one of them for 6. You know, your defense can hang.
Yeah, indeed, they can, and right now they are, as they have been able to shut down Rashawn Williams for another play. He does get 3 on the play, but you know you're not seeing the 6 and 7 yards per carry that we were early in this one.
Yeah, certainly not. And, you know, maybe it's part to New York knows they're going to run now as they try and chew the clock away. Maybe it's just because, you know, he's been running so much tonight. Maybe he's a little gassed.
Yeah, well, you know, you're right. They have been heavy on the ground. Both of these teams have. As Harleman gets the carry, and he gets behind the blocker, tries to push him forward, and all of a sudden it's an important 3rd and 6 here.
Yeah, now I feel like you got to pass in this down. Try and let Brady White throw it out to one of his targets, and look like they might, 2 to each side.
Yeah, trying to rely on the arm of old Brady White. He unloads. Jimmy Went. What a play. Keeps the drive alive. And maybe, you know, I don't know if stop the bleeding's the right word here, but you did feel the momentum starting to shift just a little bit with the way that this defense was beginning to kind of stifle San Jose. Well, that changes everything.
Yep, certainly does, and now it just gives them more time to keep running the ball, chew some more clock. And I was worried for San Jose when, you know, Jamar Shelton went down early in this one, but they've had, you know, Jimmy Wentz been showing up big time, Aiden Texera as well. You know, they have the depth to be able to perform.
Williams with the carry, and again, just another good job, good pursuit by your, you know, some of the players we've mentioned. Mike Alberts there, who's your leading tackler of the day for New York. So just been a, you know, good defensive side for those guys, and they continue to fight and continue to score points. 2nd and 11, 3:50 remaining in the 4th. Milking that play clock, DJ.
Oh, yeah. Exactly as they should, right?
Yes, absolutely. They snap it with 8 seconds left on the play clock, and they give it to Harleman, who gets a pretty good gain there. And now another 3rd and 6 coming up here. We'll see what they decide to do. Again, I think you got to go to the air.
Yeah, certainly. And, you know, we've just got to see if New York can show up like they did previously and try and make a big stop through the air. Maybe we see another interception going back the other way, but you know, they are in a heavy look. Who knows?
You hear the crowd coming to their feet. This home crowd getting loud and rowdy late in this game, trying to get their defense to make it stop. Play clock down to 5. They keep it on the ground and shaking his way out of a tackle. Oh, man. Rashawn Williams. Now, that was huge. They had a chance to stop him and allow a punt, to get the ball back. But no, look at this physicality.
Yeah, that play couldn't have gone any worse for New York. You know, Rashawn Williams, they run it to try and continue running the clock out, and it was a great decision. Your wide receivers on the edge held their blocks really nicely, and Williams was going towards that sideline, but he got tackled just before the time would have stopped, and you can see it there pushing over the century mark now is RW32.
What an appropriate play to get over the century mark as well.
Yeah.
I mean, just a great gutsy play, knowing where he needed to get for the first, knowing how important it was to this ball game. Play clock down to 2. They snap it again as Harleman, though, stopped in the backfield. A good play by Simmons as it gets us close to the 2-minute warning. I think we will see the 2-minute warning coming up before we see another snap. There he is. Folks, this one has had a little bit of everything. It's been a roller coaster of emotions for both of these teams, but it is San Jose currently leading the New York Gargoyles. We are inside of 2 minutes. You are watching the SFLm on the Virtual Football Network. Camera duty here with DJ Kilgannon, and it is Alex West in the production truck this evening. Thank you, sir, for all you have done, and thank you guys for watching and hanging in there and the conversations that we've got to read and check in on. It's been a pleasure as Williams with the carry and a quick timeout by New York, as you start to see now in that I formation trying to make New York burn these timeouts and seal this game.
Yep, now I'm curious to see if they're going to run in this 3rd and very long, or if they will result in a pass.
And They do carry, and you're right. Just trying to, as Williams is stopped, they force New York to burn another timeout, and now you'll see this kicking unit expect them to punt this one away, try to pin New York deep here.
Yeah, and, it's a good idea. Just waste as many of their timeouts early on as you can, and you expect to see that from the linebacking core of New York. These guys do really good of, building up linebackers. Last season, they had Brogan Speraw in their unit, who was the developmental defensive player of the season for them. We have all sorts of awards to recognize players from all different walks, some development, some rookie, and he was certainly sensational last season. So a nice hold by the linebacker there. Really shows how well they can develop at that spot.
Minute 43 remaining in this ball game. Down by 10. Hendricks to throw. And again, like we said, it's just been, we could call it, just a rhythm issue at the moment, but it will get corrected, no doubt. A long season to go. And as you said, you just got to gel with those wideouts. And second and 10 here, we'll see what they can draw up. We know they got to go to the air. Man in motion, and that is Dominic Kane, who has been the MVP of this game for sure for New York to this point. Hendricks throwing short, following is Lazardi. They'll have to take a timeout, and that's going to sting because that short pitch and catch, they're having to call a timeout on that. Going to kind of put them behind the 8 ball for a comeback here.
Yeah, certainly, and it just seems like Hendricks is trying to get the ball out so fast, and in this Brady versus Brady matchup, you can certainly tell who the rookie QB is of the two.
3 receivers lined up to the bottom. We'll see what Hendricks can do. Good coverage. Oh, and they're going to call that a fumble.
Wow.
That's going to be interesting to see. I don't feel like he had possession long enough.
Well, even if he didn't fumble it, you're going to see another look at it here. It would have been popped out and caught. So either way, that's a fumble or a pick going the other way for San Jose.
That is true.
That is the bow on top of the coffin.
Man, that's some good eyes right there, DJ. You're right. It all happened so fast. And it was picked up by San Jose. And as you said, tie a bow on that present. And you see victory formation. Yeah, what a good analysis there, DJ. And San Jose going to get out of here with a 10-point victory. And you know what? I think you're going to be safe to get to Birmingham.
Ooh.
Frank Doom, he said that he was just coming to watch the game. He had no intention of taking you out for some comments that was colorful comments, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, certainly.
Wow, all in good fun, folks. Listen, what a game to start this back-to-back 3-pack here of football games in the SFLm tonight. Coming up next at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, it's going to be Philadelphia at Anchorage. Charles Doherty and Mark Lopez will be on the call. Those two gentlemen, they always do a great job. And then the game we just mentioned, DJ, of course, at 10 o'clock in the nightcap, it's San Diego coming to Birmingham, and it's going to be yourself and Jesse Fretz on the call. So great football tonight, folks. Don't touch that dial, as we used to like to say in radio and TV, back when there was a dial to actually turn. Let's put it that way.
And I got to say, I'm very excited for these later blocks, of course, it being week 1. But, one thing you got to take into account is with there only being 4 teams last season, all 4 of the quarterbacks for those teams have stayed in the league. Dakota West, Mike Skamizniak has stayed. Jordan Goodman is playing over in Birmingham now. Brady White still in San Jose. I mean, they're going to have some teams that have to try some new things with their younger players, and there's some that are going to have, these veterans, quote unquote, if you will, if you want to even call them that in the minor leagues.
Well, final score 23-13. It's San Jose who is able to secure the week 1 victory. And, final thoughts, my friend. Have you got a game ball you want to give as we get ready and wrap things up?
I feel like, stat-wise, you had the touchdown from Aiden Texera, early on in this one, but I feel like just the rushing attack was so prevalent and such a big part of this game that it's hard not to look at it from my game ball. So with that being said, I think I got to give it to the offensive line of San Jose. Gave so much room for those flight runners to run, excuse me.
Love seeing those folks on the line get some love. Hey, listen, DJ, safe travels down to Birmingham. Folks, it has been a pleasure. For Alex West, for DJ Kilgannon, my name's Cameron Duty. Thanking you for spending a part of your Saturday evening with us. Like we said, stay right there. More great football to come. You are watching the SFLm on the Virtual Football Network. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.